He stabbed her once and she didn't fall. He stabbed her twice still. She held on. By the fifth strike, she was on her knees, bleeding out in the middle of the street, arms wrapped around the trembling canine like a mother shielding her child. "Run," she gasped, not to a person but to the dog. And even as the attacker fled into the distance, she didn't let go, because in her mind, saving that war-torn dog's life was worth giving up her own. It all started that morning. Nurse Leila Monroe had just finished a brutal 16-hour shift at the VA hospital. Her back arched, eyes heavy, thoughts already drifting toward a quiet meal and some overdue sleep. But as she grabbed her bag, the clinic doors burst open. A disheveled veteran stumbled in, barely standing, cradling a bleeding German shepherd, wrapped in his jacket. "Please," he begged, voice trembling. "He saved my life overseas, and now they want to put him down." The dog, Shadow, was a retired military working dog, wounded, scarred, yet alert with eyes that never left his handler's face. Leila dropped everything. She rushed them both into an exam room, whispering, "He's safe now," even though she wasn't sure how true that was. She wasn't supposed to treat animals, but something in her chest refused to walk away. She started stitching the wound on Shadow's leg, cleaned the blood from his ear, checked for fractures. She made a quick call and logged him as a temporary support companion under the veteran's name. It was bending the rules, but she didn't care. He wasn't an object. He was a soldier. By early afternoon, trouble arrived. A man in a black jacket with hard eyes and colder paperwork showed up demanding custody of the dog. Shadow, he explained, was still government property pending investigation. "This animal isn't yours to keep," he said sharply. "He comes with me." Leila stood between him and the dog, hand steady, voice low. "He's not evidence. He's family." The man's expression didn't change. "Then you're obstructing federal action." She didn't flinch. Within minutes, she'd escorted the veteran and Shadow out the back exit. She knew it wouldn't stop the man for long, but she'd bought them time. They walked quietly through the neighborhood, heading toward the vet's small rented home. But halfway down the block, tires screeched. The man had followed. No one expected a knife. He shouted once, then charged. The veteran tried to intervene but was shoved aside. Shadow growled and lunged, but his injured leg buckled and Leila didn't run. She threw herself over the dog, becoming a human shield between the blade and the animal. 5 stabs, no hesitation. She collapsed onto the pavement, barely conscious, blood pouring across her light blue scrubs, but she never let go. Even as her vision blurred, she curled tighter around Shadow's body and whispered, "You're okay. I've got you." The attacker fled before anyone could stop him. Neighbors called 911. Paramedics arrived in minutes. Leila was rushed into surgery. Shadow refused to leave her side, barking at anyone who tried to move him, howling from behind the ER doors until they allowed him to curl up beside her gurney. But the story didn't end there. One nurse posted a photo: Leila unconscious on a stretcher, soaked in blood, with Shadow lying loyally at her feet. That image traveled faster than anyone expected. Within hours it reached a private military forum. One of the SEALs who had served with Shadow recognized him immediately. Then another, then hundreds. By nightfall, the hospital parking lot began to fill black SUVs, motorcycles, silent footsteps of men who didn't need to announce who they were. They came from nearby cities and states away. Within 7 hours of the stabbing, over 200 Navy SEALs and veterans stood outside the hospital, not in protest. In protection, they lined the halls, they checked security. One brought legal paperwork, finalizing Shadow's adoption into the veteran's care. Another brought a medal with the inscription, "For those who serve without asking why." A third handed the front desk a sealed letter. Inside, a full scholarship for Leila's daughter. Should anything ever happen to her, Leila survived, just barely. 1 lung collapsed, 2 broken ribs, internal bleeding, but she pulled through. When she woke up, still groggy from the painkillers, her first words were a whisper, "Is the dog okay?" He was there sitting beside her bed, tail wagging gently, eyes locked onto hers. He hadn't moved. She hadn't done it for recognition. She hadn't thought about consequences. She just saw something worth protecting, and her body moved before her mind could. And because of that, the entire brotherhood of warriors showed up. Not because she was one of them, but because, in that one selfless act, she proved she understood exactly what they stood for. So, real heroes don't wear capes or sometimes even uniforms. Sometimes, they wear scrubs. Sometimes, they bleed without a headline. But the right people always notice. If this story touched your heart, subscribe. For more true stories of bravery, hit the like button. And share this with someone who believes courage is still alive in this world.